back. I am your host, Jade Psycho Mamba, here to bring you a brand new game. Not new, brand new, but I'll be playing for the first time. We have The Forgotten City. As far as I know, this is a game that involves a lot of puzzles, so something I enjoy a lot. And look, right on the right here, please help us avoid spoilers. Dear content creators, as you'll discover, this game is full of intrigue and plot twists. Please give your audience a spoiler warning before sharing content from beyond the white hallway so that interested players can fully enjoy the experience for themselves if they wish to. Sincerely, the Modern Storyteller Team. Well, there you have it, folks. Alright, let's see here. Language, of course we want English. Go to yes, 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 yes. Subtitles, yes, yes. Yes. Video. Motion blur, field of view. Audio. Controls. Oh goody, B is the jump button. What does left trigger do? Left trigger doesn't do anything, it seems. Alright, here we go. This game was developed by a core team of 3 people over 4 years. Mystery adventure with multiple endings. It rewards thoughtful conversation and exploration, not brute force. Oh man! What if I like brute force?
Hey, you're alive. When I dragged you out of the river, I thought you were never gonna wake up. I checked your pockets for ID, a phone, maybe. I hope you don't mind. But all I found was some loose change. So, wanna tell me who you are? Well, it's nice to meet you. And I'm sorry to pry, but any idea why you were floating down the river? What's the last thing you remember?
I think
It does
we'll
look
go
like
with
you
this
took a
one.
pretty hard blow to the head. You're just lucky you've been given a second chance. Which is why I feel terrible for what I'm about to say, but I have a favor to ask. There are some ruins just behind you. Roman, I think. I need you to go in there and see if you can find a guy named Al for me. He went in there a few hours ago, and he hasn't come out. I've been freaking out, wondering if he's trapped or injured or worse. I would have gone in after him, but he made me promise to stay here, no matter what. There's no way I'm leaving without him, so I'm just kind of stuck here, waiting. What I mean is, I was hoping you wouldn't mind going in there to find him? If you can do that, I can get both of you back to civilization in my boat. Please? Oh, of course. Sorry, I don't mean to be pushy. What do you want to know? Oh, there's not much to tell. Feels like I've spent my whole life in a dead-end job with an endless commute. Know what I mean? Oh, I'd rather not say if it's all the same to you. All right, fine. Sorry if I sounded cagey, it's just that... yeah, something like that. He's the guy who washed up on the riverbank not long before you did. I thought maybe the two of... In any case, you'll like him, I'm sure. You really don't remember? Not much, really. But imagine... What am I, an idiot? You could hike a long, long way... Great. So you're ready to go look for Al? Thank you. The entrance is just past those columns, but... Oh, and he left...
Battery-powered flashlight. I feel like they wanted to make sure you were aware of that. Not much of a jump.
If you're reading this, it means I've discovered the entrance to an ancient Roman city hidden deep underground. Its existence is long forgotten, all knowledge of it lost, except in the Latin inscription here. It reads, "You who wish to enter the city, step forth and be judged. The virtuous shall be rewarded with eternal life in paradise. The wicked shall find themselves showered in gold, but in vain, for this shall be their final resting place." Could an underground city have remained a secret for all this time? Could people have survived down there, against the odds? It seems there's only one way to find out. If I'm not back in an hour, I'm somewhere on the other side. Consider this an invitation. Or a warning. Al Worth.
So it seems like there's not too much in terms of off the beaten path exploration. Yeah, can't even move to certain areas. Just, I think, if you were able to get a hold of one plate of that gold there, you would be set for a long time. Gosh, this is gorgeous. I always loved exploration. I love games, or I love anything really that delves into history, especially even if you make it a fictitious spin on real world history. I love the creativity they give, and especially if they bring in like the old world structure. I have a real appreciation for it. Okay, you just looked at me. Okay, yeah, that... Jesus. That thing turned its head again. I swear, it's like the people who are judged and turned to gold have become the decoration. How deep did he fall?
To whoever reads this, I'm sorry you had to find me like this. And worse, that you'll suffer the same fate I did. I've spent a lifetime in this place, going around and around in circles, searching for a way out. The inscription was right. There is no way back. And here there are only two options: death, or that godforsaken doorway into the past. I made the mistake of stepping through it. I wanted to set things right. And I tried. I really tried. Whatever I did, it took me right back to the beginning. Don't make the same mistake. Better to end it all now and find out what awaits you beyond that portal.
Okay, well. I'm hearing water flowing. Okay, it just pulled me in.
Salve, friend. I'm Galerius. Mind telling me who you are and what you were doing in the Shrine of Proserpina? Oh, is that right? Well, just make sure you don't get lost in any other sacred places you're not supposed to be. Can't have you disrespecting the gods by accident, can we now? But listen, most folks seem a bit confused when they get here, but you seem very lost, and in more ways than one. So let me make this nice and simple for you. Live by our law here, and we'll all get along just fine. Not laws, law. There's just one, the Golden Rule, and the punishment for breaking it's, well, it's kind of horrific. But our magistrate insists we take all newcomers to see him, so I guess I'll let him fill you in. So then, you coming? Follow me. When I first arrived, I couldn't believe there were people living down here. But, as you can see, we've got a nice little community now. Only 23 of us at the moment, if you count the 3 who are missing. No idea how, since nobody knows a way out. But it's just big and dark enough to get lost in, if you're not careful.
Aren't you going to introduce me to your handsome new friend, Galerius?
Keep it in your loincloth, Aurelia. I'm taking him to see the magistrate.
That pompous old bore won't be magistrate for much longer. Anyone who helps vote him out today drinks at my bar for free tonight.
Politics. I'd stay clear of it and her, if I were you. She's... it's not my place to say. Down on your right is our farm, where I grow all the food you'll ever want. As long as all you want is leek, cabbage, and wheat. Huh. That one usually gets a chuckle.
The bloodless shadows wander without flesh or bone.
Don't mind Livia. She means well. She's just been in a bad place since... Well, you know, I don't know what happened to her. Up here on your right is the chasm. If you've got a weapon, it belongs way down at the bottom. Up on your left is the Forum, where you can visit the market or get yourself patched up in Lucretia's clinic in the Shrine of Apollo. Most of us have almost nothing, just what we had on us when we arrived, and what we've been able to make and scrounge up since. And this central plateau is where the magistrate and the other patricians live, so don't expect a warm welcome.
Galerius, you're meant to be working the farm, not trudging dirt into the villas.
Take it easy, Horatius. I was just taking our new friend here to see the magistrate.
Well, he's asked me to escort the newcomer personally. The farm. Go. Now.
You'd better go with him. But just remember, they're not like you and me. Don't let them use you.
What was that? What did you just say?
I said it'll take some getting used to.
Yeah, I'm watching you, farm boy. Greetings, citizen. My name's Horatius. Magistrate Sentius asked me to escort you to him personally. Follow me, please. Follow me. The only thing you really need to understand right now is the Golden Rule. Let me see if I can explain it this way. When I was serving in the Legion, if there was a mutiny brewing in one cohort, the legate in charge wouldn't waste time finding the bad apples among hundreds. They just divided us into groups of 10, made us draw straws, and whoever drew the short straw had to be executed by the other 9. Didn't matter whether he'd done anything wrong. One of us in 10 would die for the crimes of the collective. We call it decimation. If that seems like rough justice to you, you're in for a rude shock. Because the Golden Rule is exactly 10 times worse. The magistrate can explain the rest. Who's up these stairs?
We're finally alone. I assume you already know who I am. May I know your name? A curious name, to match a curious accent. But I digress. Now, you're probably wondering why I summoned you, and I'll get to that. But first, take a look at this wondrous place, would you? A secret city built deep in the mountains, many hundreds of years ago. Indeed. More importantly, consider the miraculous community we've built here over the last 7 months. 22 complete strangers brought together by the fates, living and working together in our own little paradise. And in all that time, not a single sin has been committed. No fights, no theft, nothing. Have you ever witnessed something so extraordinary as a city without sin? Nor could I until I came here. But the reason for this miracle is as simple as it is terrifying. If even one person commits a sin here, every last one of us will die. You see, the builders of this place, whoever they were, left inscriptions warning, "The many shall suffer for the sins of the one." From what we can gather, breaking the law here will anger the gods and provoke a terrible punishment. Like the curses of Medusa and Midas combined, turning us all to gold. We've come to call it the
That's
Golden.
about what it seemed like to me.
It's extraordinary that we've survived as long as we have, and each day I grow more and more afraid that our time in the sun is almost up. And now it seems that day is finally here. All that matters is that somebody in this city is about to break the Golden Rule. Why else would Proserpina send you now? Unless you and I can stop them, our doom is assured. I know that's a lot to take in, and you look like you have questions. Please, ask away. An intelligent question. There was a good deal of debate about that in our first weeks here. Does it refer to crimes or to some other ill-defined wrong? Of course, everyone agrees on the basics. No theft, no assault, and certainly no murder. But beyond that, it was more difficult to reach a consensus. What about lying, insulting someone, blasphemy, trespass, trying to escape, bribery, infidelity, suicide? As magistrate, I had to exercise leadership, and so I made a decision. We must uphold the laws of the Empire to a standard never before seen. And we must honor the peace of the gods, the sacred accord between the gods and the people of Rome. It is only by offering the gods the proper respect that we may prosper, as Rome has for centuries. Barbaric? Barbaric? What are you talking about? The Empire is the most civilizing force in the known world. Rome is a beacon of light in the darkness. For 800 years she has borne great statesmen, philosophers, poets, artists, and engineers. We have comprehensive laws protecting the rights of our citizens, which have unified countless warring tribes all across the Mediterranean and beyond, from Gallia to Judea. All our citizens are treated the same, regardless of the color of their skin or their sexual preference. Can you say the same? When our people are starving, they are given food rations, and when they are wronged, they have the right to bring the guilty party before the magistrate. Our laws forbid treason, murder, assault, and rape, as well as theft and arson, and so on. No other civilization in the world is so advanced, and you have the hubris to call us barbaric? On occasion, but our gladiators are almost all volunteers seeking glory, or condemned prisoners who would have been executed anyway. I do not see the harm. Of course, what else would we do with those prisoners of war who would otherwise have been executed? And besides, there are laws for their protection as well. Of course, but with fewer rights come fewer responsibilities, and the right to be protected by their fathers and husbands. You mean the blasphemous cult responsible for burning down half of Rome last year? It's hard to blame the people for being angry about that. Are you talking about our practice of decimation? Of course. We could hardly unite all these warring tribes without a disciplined, formidable legion. Well, right now, you're a long, long way from home. I have made my pronouncement on the subject. Unfortunately, there are still those here who resist, whispering blasphemous and treasonous lies in the shadows. I would be keeping a close eye on them if I were you. You see, in my search for a way to save my people, I learned of an ancient ritual to Proserpina, the goddess of the cycle of life and renewal. It's said to open a doorway in time so that if the unthinkable happens, one person can pass through it and travel back to the past. And when I saw you arrive in a flash of light from the goddess's shrine, I knew that person was you. You don't belong in our time, do you? 2,000 years? That is unfathomable. Please tell me, in your time, what did you see? What had become of us, of this city? I have imagined it, our downfall, 1,000 times, but it still breaks my heart to hear the truth of it. All I can tell you is that it's a ritual sacrifice to Proserpina. I stumbled across instructions. I have to recite a prayer, and of course, as with all rituals, some sacrifice is involved. Usually that means wine or food, or in some cases a live animal. In this case, the sacrifice is rather more costly. The life of the person performing the ritual. I don't suppose you saw any sign of me in the future? I assume that was me. If I'm forced to perform the ritual, it's going to cost me everything. You'll try to make sure I don't need to use it, won't you? Well, thank you for your candor, I suppose. Well, I believe you're in the best position to go around asking people questions. You're new here, and it'll seem perfectly normal. As for me, well, it pains me to say my attempts to impose order have not earned me many friends. I fear I may not even remain magistrate after today's election. The people here would only treat my curiosity with suspicion. You shouldn't have that problem, though, unless, of course, you get off on the wrong foot. Do you ever stare at a problem for so long that you can't see it for what it is anymore? What's needed here is a fresh pair of eyes. The less I prejudice the independence of your investigation, the better. Me? Why would you suspect me? I've just told you. I'm about to sacrifice my own life to ensure these people have a second chance. What reason could you possibly have to suspect me, of all people? I'm glad you think so. Without trust, without each other, we won't be able to prevent what is about to happen. You mean you couldn't speak Latin before you arrived here? How strange. But the gods are active here, and their temples and shrines hum with power like nowhere else in the Empire. Perhaps when Proserpina brought you here, she planted the seed of Latin in your mind so that you could better serve her. Indeed. Ah, good. So, are you with me? No, I don't suppose you do. But I'm wonderful. Now, I need you to investigate. I authorize you to enter private homes and inspect possession. Figure out who the culprit is. Oh, and one last thing. If I were you, I'd start my... I heard wailing from there not long ago.
Interesting. You look familiar. Sounds like somebody is buying favor.
Oh, another one fresh out of the baths, I take it. Ugh, I wish Horatius would stop letting barbarians in here. What do you want? You know, some people say it's the creation of an all-seeing god who's watching everything we do. But what kind of
Argus?
an awful, incompetent god would let my sister go missing on his or her watch? Oh, I'd say it to their faces if they had the courage to show themselves. Did you hear that? Curse you, you coward! Where is my sister? What do you have to say for yourself? No response. Nothing. That's what I thought. I'm telling you, this mysterious god of ours has to be asleep on the job. Either that, or, like people are saying, it really is just a children's fable my father is exploiting to frighten us into behaving. I suppose we will. I'm Sentia, eldest daughter of the magistrate, but you'd know that if you'd been invited in here and introduced properly. What are you doing in here, and why are you dressed like that? I trust you can see yourself out.
I wonder if these will have significance later.
Citizen.
What were you two talking about? Don't play dumb. I saw you. Having a shady little chat with old man Sentius up on his balcony. What's he offering you? Money? Favours? What's your vote worth to him? A spit of a fauna career. We've lined up all the votes we need already. Mark my words, Malleolus is going to be magistrate by the end of the day. And if I tell him you've sided with that feeble old has-been, that you've been trying to undermine his hard-won victory, you'll have picked the wrong patron. Got it? Good. Then stay out of it. Nobody likes Caput Murday foreigners interfering in an election. Can't hurt. Her name's Domitius. You want to get to Malleolus, you go through me. Why? Because I am a gladiator. That's why. You want to see me fight? Keep running your mouth, fatuous cunners. I think it's gone on long enough, and Malleolus is going to put an end to it once he's elected. He's going to announce it in his victory speech. Just you wait and see. Old man Sentius got you already, did he? Well, I'm not talking to people in his faction. Confatuare.
That looks like a trap. I couldn't tell if that was a person or a bust. Ah, that's what it was.
On your best behavior, I trust.
Majestic. A new face. Ave, and may Vesta watch over you. I'm Equitia. To what do I owe the pleasure of this visit? Oh my. I take it people are quite direct where you're from. I suppose it's quite charming in its own way. Usually, however, you wouldn't simply march up to a Vestal priestess and without due formality or courtesy ask, "What is your story?" The proper approach would be to arrange an introduction through a mutual acquaintance in high office, by which time you would already know how to address me. And then you would find a way to satisfy your curiosity rather more indirectly. But to be honest, I've often thought what an unnecessarily formal way to communicate that is.
So, let's do it your way. You just keep being yourself and ask whatever you like. It'll be a refreshing change. You really don't know? You are from far away, aren't you? Well, I am one of the priestesses charged with keeping the sacred flame in Rome's shrine of Vesta burning. I take it you know who Vesta is? Excellent. You know, I'm not entirely sure. But what about you? How did you end up here? Karen, you say? And nothing about that name seemed odd to you? You do? Well then, have you spoken with any of the others about how they arrived here too? I really think you should. Go around and ask them what they remember and see if you notice any patterns.
She's was implying that
I know. I just don't want to see what happened to Livia happen to you too. Up until a few weeks ago, she was a perfectly productive member of our little community, darning clothes and cutting hair. She was always so chatty, always seeking out newcomers and asking them where they were from and how they wound up here. And then, about a month ago, she suddenly changed. She withdrew, stopped working and became despondent, started muttering to herself. Galerius and I visited her to see how we could help, but she just looked at us with this haunted stare, called us bloodless shadows, and told us we were ignorant of some pattern. Look, it could be unrelated. Perhaps she simply fell ill. Or, as Galerius suggested, the weight of the Golden Rule was too much for her. But there is a small chance that she learned something, saw a pattern nobody else saw, and that it broke her. I just don't want to see that happen to you. So be careful, will you? Thank you. Now, go and follow the thread of truth through this labyrinth, and come back to me if you discover any patterns. Come back to me once you've acquainted yourself with the rest of our neighbors.
What now? He's one of the better commanders I've ever had, that's for sure. Good stoic. Lives by Seneca's words. Treat your inferior as you would wish your superior to treat you. Can't ask for much more than that. I'm a legionary of the 1st Italica, but there's not a lot of fighting down here. So the magistrate has assigned me other duties. I act as the magistrate's right-hand man, keeping an eye on his daughters. Daughter, I should say. And the others, and making sure they're all behaving. I also keep a register of new arrivals. I'm from Liguria, up north originally. I was doing all right for myself. 12 years into my service. Had a nice girl lined up for when it was all over. Not anymore. She's probably figured I'm long gone and moved on by now. I try not to think about it. My commander sent me to deliver a message to Rome. While I was there, I thought I'd do something nice for my girl, and pick up a little pendant from a silversmith. That's when the crowd started flooding through the streets, shouting fire. People were screaming, trampling each other. Then some Genetricum Fugitor tried to take advantage of the chaos and pinch my pendant. I remember chasing him through the crowds, down towards the river. And then, nothing. Blacked out and woke up near here. No idea how I ended up floating so far downriver. But I'm fortunate to be alive, I suppose. Ah, don't be. As Seneca the Younger said, Difficulty strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. That said, Scintilla's disappearance has been more difficult than I'd care to admit. I don't see why not. Just make sure I get it back by tomorrow.
So he's a loan shark. Or a predatorial lender. Of course. Well, as I always say, it's kind of like a divine version of the practice of decimation in the Legion. By threatening to execute 1 in 10 men, the idea is to ensure order and discipline among everyone. And it works. If you knew you could be executed because your brother-in-arms is planning a mutiny, well, you'd bloody well watch him like 100-eyed Argus, wouldn't you? Because your only chance of saving yourself... That's exactly what I
is to
said,
stop
was
bad
Argus.
things before they happen. Makes us all responsible for keeping each other in check. It's brutal, of course, but effective. The Legion wouldn't be the most formidable force in the world without it. A war crime? Isn't that a contradiction in terms? As Cicero said, in times of war the law falls silent. Seems that way. War crimes. Ridiculous. What's done is done. I was forced to execute my brothers in arms, and those memories, as with the Golden Rule. I don't... As Seneca the Younger wrote, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied with what we have, which is sufficient. For he that is so wants nothing. If you like. All right?
just heard the sound of... Mother of... Ugh. That is so unnerving. That is unsettling to a whole new level.
Isn't this temple imposing? Salve, friend. I'm Octavia. Welcome to life under the Golden Rule. It's a ghastly thing, is it not? How are you faring so far? Ah, another stoic, perhaps. We all need something to help us through times like these. We've all been where you are now. I remember when I first arrived. I used to lay awake at night contemplating the big questions. Why am I here? Is there a way out? What is the Golden Rule, and who or what is responsible for it? I still don't have any of the answers, I'm afraid. I don't think anybody does. But I'm happy to share with you what I've learned. Here, in this place, the magistrate has me earning my keep by cleaning and pruning the gardens. It's not quite how I expected my life to go. I used to live in a lovely villa on the banks of the Tiber. I was even betrothed to a handsome young man from a prominent family. But long hours of menial labor for the good of the community has its own charms too, I suppose. Oh, much the same way as many of the others. When the fires came to Rome 7 months ago, my family and I fled for the Tiber, hoping to escape on a barge. We were among the fortunate ones with enough coins for passage, but unfortunately, there were a lot of desperate people, and they boarded before we could depart. A scuffle broke out, and I was pushed overboard. The last thing I remember was the water, rising up to hit my cheekbone. I woke up by the river, near that shrine, and stumbled across this place. Oh, that's all right. I'm sure it's all part of God's plan for me. Oh yes, of course. A slip of the tongue. If you like. Please keep that to yourself. There was a terrible fire in Rome last year, and our Oh, thank you. The men... I'd like to think that if we all love our neighbours as ourselves, but on the other hand, I was always taught the intent of man's heart, and that's where I get stuck. You don't think that's a little naive? Innocent men and women, torn apart. All right, well, it was lovely to meet you.
I can't believe this is how it ends.
Oh no. No. Ulpius, what are you doing? Get back from there. If you lose your balance, you'll fall.
That's the idea.
What? Why? Why would you want that?
Why do you think I'm stuck for the rest of my life working for a man who treats me like an animal?
I know things are hard for you right now. They're hard for all of us. We're all in this together, Ulpius. Please just think this through. If you do this, it could be the sin that seals all of our fates. Is that what you want?
I'm sorry, but I just don't care anymore.
Please, Ulpius. Help him. If he goes through with it, it could be the end for us all. I don't know what to do. I've never had to deal with this sort of thing. Please, you need to talk to him. Thank you. And please, choose your words carefully.
Let me guess. You're going to let... I screwed up my life. That's what's wrong. I'll be stuck slaving away for that Culus Cumulatis Malio. I'm out. Wherever you are, Scintilla, my love. I'm sorry.
Ulpius, no! I can't believe he went through with it. That was not your fault. There's no way you could have given him what he wanted. I'll have to let everyone know what happened. And I guess Malleolus will have to clean up the mess in his villa. It's of his own make, and I'd best pray for poor
Okay, well, that was interesting. One of the statues just told me to follow a guy. Okay, I clearly saw the head move. Yeah. Interesting. I'm back to the Shrine of Proserpina.
Just as the ocean accepts the rivers of all the world, so this place accepts all the souls. But it does not notice the crowds that come. The bloodless shadows wander without flesh or bone. Some crowd the forum, some the house of the ruler of the depths. Others follow their trades, imitating their previous lives. The bloodless shadows. This is their punishment. They never do. You think you wish to. It is better for you if you remain ignorant. The newly arrived are ignorant of. Cerberus lifts his triple head and lets out his threefold braying.
Livia, would you stop muttering like Medea over a cauldron? You'll scare away my customers.
They follow their trades, imitating their previous lives, but they are ignorant.
This again. You're in a world of your own, aren't you? Oh, you're here. I'm so glad you decided to visit. I'm Aurelia, and I hope I'm not being too forward, but the moment I laid eyes on you, I was intrigued. You're not like any Roman man I've ever seen. You seem so refined, so civilized. Ugh, coming on a bit strong, don't you think? I take back what I said. Suddenly, let's just forget that ever happened, so we can...
Achievement unlocked, Smooth Talker. Get rejected by Aurelia. Huh.
Certainly, for 10 denarii. Have you met Livia? She used to do my hair. Now, she just stands around, caked in... I hear that if Malleolus is elected, he's gonna throw a small festival to celebrate, with entertainment and everything. Can't wait to find out what it is. Whatever you like. Ugh, let it go. You know, normally, I'd expect... Straight to business, huh? As a matter of... I'm happy to tell you all about it, but... So... How... Simple. It's a one-way trip, and I'm not ready to go. What's the matter? Well, perhaps you could take out a loan. I just try not to think about it. Drink helps with that. All right.
I can just find a bow.
You, Sisyphus, attack or pursue the stone that always returns.
Whatever's in that great temple up there on the bluff, I bet it's worth a fortune. Salve, stranger, and welcome to our idyllic little slice of the Empire. I'm Dacius. Terrible shame what happened to Yulia, but we just have to carry on, don't we? You mean, how did I end up here? That is a lengthy tale. All right. Well, you see, I'm in the business of procuring rare and precious objects liberated from the enemies of Rome. Mostly sculptures, vases, the occasional slave, fetch a magnificent price in Roman high society. Had myself a nice little shop in Rome just off the Forum, lots of foot traffic and close to the docks. Good place to be when the fires broke out. See, about 7 months ago, half of Rome caught on fire. Everyone who couldn't get to an outer gate was running for the river, hoping to escape by barge. So I gathered my coins and some priceless vases into a cart and had my most loyal slave girl, pretty young thing named Acantha, push it for me. All the way down to the river, I'm elbowing for a stampede of people, turning back now and then to make sure she hasn't legged it with my valuables. But, to my surprise, we make it, and I see this barge loading up, and it's so full it's almost sinking. But the captain's happy to take my coin, so I start boarding, and then he puts his hand on my chest and he says, "No, too heavy. The cart or the girl." So I did what anyone would have done.
The cart?
Of course I chose the cart. I mean, I can always buy a new slave girl if I still have my money. So I put my hand on the cart, and I guess she realised what was happening because those pretty black eyes of hers go all wide. And in one swift motion, she topples the whole bloody thing into the Tiber. Naturally, I dived in after it, hoping to salvage my fortune. Only, I guess I must have hit my head or something, because everything went black. When I came to, I'd washed up on the riverbank not far from here, with nothing in the world but a single silver coin. I couldn't agree more. I mean, sure, I'd lost a few thousand denarii, but I've already made it back, and this place is a veritable treasure trove. Look around you. There must be more gold in here than in the treasury of Rome. If I can just figure out how to get it out of here. It's terrible for inflation is what it is. There's so much gold just lying around, it's practically worthless. At least down here. Of course, I have an idea for generating real wealth, but what I need is a bow. Just a simple composite bow. I've scoured this city from top to bottom with no luck. But if you happen to find one, bring it to me and we'll talk. Oh, well, technically yes, but that just means you'll need to be a little discreet. No need to decide on anything yet. Just slip. Very well.
Name's Rufius. Can't talk long. Family's from Seleucia on Tigris, Babylon province. But I've been roaming a long time now. Even joined the legions. The 6th. The one they call Ironclads. Magistrate made me toss it in the chasm. Because we're all in good. Same way as if you were dealing. None of your business. If we I'll tell you this much. I hate the fact that my survival depends on the common sense of other people. Then you know what I'm talking about. I mean, all these people just bumble along like nothing's wrong. Well, we're one bad decision away from being wiped out. Like the last lot of people who lived here. Seems like I'm the only one ready for what's coming. Whatever that is. And when it hits, it's everyone for themselves. You've been warned. I don't know. But did you ever get the feeling some of these statues are watching us? Of course I...
The 49 melodies fetch again with incessant labor the water they have lost.
That is strange. That does draw some parallels.
You, Tantalus, cannot catch the drops of water, and the tree you grasp at eludes you. The 49 melodies fetch again with incessant labor the water they have lost.
Keep an eye out for Scintilla, would you?
Don't you just love springtime? Ah, it's you again. Now. Well, I'm a farmer. Always have been. I grew up in a small village in Britannia, Camulodunum, with my parents and 2 little sisters. Lovely part of the world. One day, when I was about 20, my father and I were in the top paddock, loading our cart, when some Roman legionaries came along, demanding produce for their men. My father told me to run into the house for his axe, and so I did. I sprinted so fast I almost threw up, but by the time I got back, he was bleeding out on the ground, and our cart was empty. That was my first encounter with the legions. My mother died of a broken heart soon after, and things went downhill from there. I took over the farmstead, but I was young, and it was a struggle. More raiding started before too long. We'd come outside in the morning to find animals missing, our stores pillaged. These legion thugs just took whatever they wanted. One night, when my sisters and I had nothing left to steal, there was a knock at the door. I knew who they were, and what they wanted. I got my father's old axe, pulled the door open real quick, and before that soldier knew it, split his face right down the middle. But there were more of them. I never saw how many, because the next thing I knew, I was waking up with a mouth full of dirt and lungs full of smoke. My home was reduced to ash. My sisters, dead. And they left me alive to see what they'd done. Yeah, well, I wasn't the only one this happened to. It wasn't long before Boudica. Unfortunately, there were just too many of them. And I spent a few years working for my new master, learning the Romans' ways, Romanized my name and everything. Tried to escape a couple of times, but they always found me. I'd probably still be there too, if it wasn't for the stampedes breaking out. Everybody was running down toward the river, screaming and shouting. I got swept up with them. The next thing I knew, some stranger was dragging me out of a river. Stumbled. That's what I thought too, for a while. See, I finally had my own farm again. Until Sentius the Decurion demanded I hand over all my produce. It's for the good of us all, he says. He even told me if I refuse his demands, I'll break the golden... So, it turns out our dear old magistrate is no better... But don't you worry, Nemesis is waiting. Forget I said that last part. Thanks, friend. Anyway, that's an... Well, as much as I'd love to get out of here, the harvest's always... But Scintilla, Sentius' daughter, went missing a few weeks back. Could be she found a way out. If anyone knows for sure, it'll be her sister, Sentia. But she'd never tell the likes of me. Oh, I don't give it much thought these days. I mean, But I say, let's spend less time arguing about what it means to... I can't see how I could vote for either candidate. I don't like... Even I could do a better job. Me! All right.
Oh, it's the theater. Why is it that only these ones don't change? Odd. Even the one laying down looks at you. Almost got enough to buy the information. Okay, this way. No, they did not.
Give me a moment. Sorry I'm such a mess. I just lost a patient and a dear... She was poisoned. She came in here frothing at the mouth. Normally, and I knew Decius had some at his market stall, right around the corner. So I ran over there. That'll be 1,000 denarii. Then that toad shrugs and says, supply and anywhere else, I'd just pay a thug to steal it from his stall. But there's no way I can do that down here with the... So all I could do is come back, and now I'll never know who poisoned her, or how they managed to do it without breaking the golden rule, or why she cursed that snake's cruel black eyes. Well, unless you have the power to get me that silphium resin. I'm going to have another patient in here soon. Could be in the next... I don't care how you get it, but you have... I swear to the gods below, not even the golden rule will stop me from marching up to... I'm Lucretia, and I'm going to be straight with you. I'm not a physician. This is Nevia's clinic. I've just been filling in. I'm tired and out of my depth and miserable. Well, she used to run the clinic. She was a midwife, not a physician, but she was the closest thing we had down here. And she was good, too. Until she suddenly lost all interest in us. One day she told me she'd made some profound discovery about the golden statues. This changes everything, she kept saying. But I had no idea what she was talking about. The last time I saw her, the last time any of us, and then she shut herself in the palace, barred the door from... She's been gone so long now, we figure she's either dead. But I really wish I could reach her, because that's the only hope I have of solving a troubling problem. One of my patients is suffering from terrible rheumatism. He's become so irritable that the smallest things set him off. And I just know Nevia would know how to treat him. Assume... Really? That would be wonderful. Thank you. Let me know. May Apollo keep you safe. May Apollo keep you safe. Feeling all right? You made it into the palace. I'm impressed. Oh, I see. Willowback. I should have known. It was under my... I have some right here. Could you do me a favor and give him... Thank you. I'm really glad you...
Oh, Rufius, huh?
Oh no. Sorry. There was one other person, but that was Navy. Well, she... Until this, the last... And then she's been... But one of... I really shouldn't say. He's become so irritable. I just... Thanks. All right.
Galerius?
Horatius? Looking a bit troubled there.
Still no sign of Scintilla. And I haven't slept right in 3 weeks.
You
Don't be too hard on
again.
yourself. From what I hear, nobody
What
saw
business?
it coming. Anyway, I thought you Stoics weren't supposed to worry
Willowbar.
about things you can't control.
Finally, some relief.
Yeah, but I keep thinking,
I've been
what if there is something
in a
there?
lot of pain.
What if
It
she's
was
out
too
there
much.
somewhere suffering, waiting
Started
to be
messing
found?
with. I owe you.
Sounds like you're torturing yourself. Leave that for the gods.
So you're
Try
up.
to relax. Get some rest. Tomorrow's a new day.
I suppose you're right. Galerius?
Horatius? Looking a bit troubled there.
Still no sign of
Ah,
Scintilla.
back again.
And I haven't slept right in 3 weeks.
Don't be too hard
Certainly.
on yourself.
All I ask.
From what I hear, nobody saw it coming. Anyway, I thought you Stoics weren't supposed to worry about
That's
things
hardly
you
my
can't
concern.
control.
Yeah,
But if you get a job, work
I
hard.
keep thinking, what if there is
That's
something
hardly
I
my
can do? What if
Very
she's
well.
out there somewhere
Perhaps I can
suffering,
interest you in some.
waiting to be found?
Sounds like you're torturing yourself. Leave that for the gods. Try to relax.
Very well.
Get some rest.
Another time.
Tomorrow's a new day.
I suppose you're right.
The 49 melodies fetch again with incessant.
Ah, a fellow traveler from a faraway land. Greetings, I'm Georgius. It gladdens me to see another foreigner in our midst, and I must say, my sartorial friend, leather boots in place of sandals, trousers with precise stitching. I have traveled distant trade, and never have I seen anyone dressed. And now you have me more intrigued than before. But since it appears we will have much time here, I hope that our
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Whoa! Objective unlocked. Looper. Loop through time once. Oh my gosh, I'm freaking in death loop. Ah!
Salve, friend. I'm Galerius. Mind telling me who you are and what you would... Oh, I guess how much did I drink last night? Oh, and... Just attach the pulley to the rope over the lake and hang on to the handles. If it works, and if it doesn't work, worst thing that can happen is you'll... But don't worry, it's... Oh, sounds... Poor guy. My uncle was a victim at rheumatism's alt. I'll go, but once I'm...
Oh, this is so interesting.
Salve, Rufius. I hear you've been suffering from rheumatism. Sorry to hear about that, friend.
What? My condition is nobody's business but mine.
There's no need for that. I just wanted to give you this willow bark to help you treat it.
A treatment? Really? Thank God. Finally, some relief.
What are you doing in here? Can't you see this woman is dying? She needs the resin of a plant called... What? Yulia? Hopefully in a moment. That was extraordinary. How did you know she needed this exact thing? But how could you know she needed this exact medicine? You just saved a person's life, and you should be proud of yourself. She might even be able to thank you herself in a few moments. And maybe she can tell us who poisoned her, and who she meant when she... In the meantime, I'm happy... Sure. Do you really want to know? I mean, if somebody poisoned her, then surely... Gladly... That's a shame.
Wait, so is this like a... Whoa.
Ah, a fellow traveler from a faraway land.
How'd you do?
Help! You have to do something. A man arrived in the baths. You have to do something, or he's gonna break the golden... None of us do. The magistrate made us throw them all into the cat. You'll just have to Thank... I have to hide. What? We don't... Ugh. The shrine is collapsing!
Fabia, no! Oh gods, she's dead! Did anyone see that? The whole shrine just collapsed on her. Oh, Fabia, why did you have to go in there? Poor sweet
Stop right there. I'm looking for Tiberius Quinctius Crispus, otherwise known as Quinctius. Do you know where he is? I'm not sure I believe that, so allow me to... I am here with orders from Emperor Nero himself to find and execute the cult. So, if you tell me the truth, I will allow you to live. But if you lie to me or other... Is that understood? Thank you. Now tell me, A small community. Ha! I was told Quintius was a cultist, but I never thought he'd be... Oh, don't play coy with me. I don't care if you're worshipping Bacchus, Magna Mater, or Christ. You lot are always sneaking off to your secret. The Emperor may have tolerated your activity. You say that, but if you're not a cult... So you admit you're not allowed to leave. Threatening me is not going to help you. That sounds an awful... And I saw the inscription saying, the many... A distinction with a... You've clearly... Now tell me, what... You lot are practicing... Yes, because it's all clear to me now. The secret What baffles me is how a person can... However, you still have a chance to Very well. Here's what I know. He's a 40 to 50-year-old man with distinctive... The Emperor says he and his cult, your cult. All I know, all I care about, is that this is your last chance. Do you have any last words? And there's a simple explanation for... But if you want to know the truth, once I'm done with you and Quint, and I can think of nothing...
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
That sure didn't take long. I don't know why, but this game just got a whole lot cooler.
Salve, friend. I'm Galerius. Oh, sounds... Poor guy. Yulia. I'll go, but once...
Oh.
Lucretia, no time to explain. I'm supposed to give you the Silphium resin for Yulia.
What?
Help! You have to do something. A man arrived in the baths. You have to do... Thank you. I have to hide. What?
All right,
Achievement unlocked. Trickster. Save Fabia's life.
Stop right there. I'm... You're right, I am. I suppose I might as well. Do you have any last words? Well, I'd say that's rather convenient.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
This time I actually witnessed it.
Oh. Yulia. I'll go.
Okay, let's try this again.
Greetings and salutations.
Help! You... Thank... What?
Stop right there. Thank you. For your service to the Empire, I...
Oh, the empty shrine.
Filthy, lying degenerate.
You there! I'm sorry to trouble you, but I couldn't have no idea how you managed to get your hands on it, especially in the light. And before you ask, no, I wouldn't dream of trying. But I would like to propose. Tell me, do you have any idea how people hit? And here I was thinking I was the only one. Supposedly, one or two of those arrows. Now, of course, that is a travesty. A terrible. I can't help but think of a tale told by that Greek fella, Aesop. With the ability to transmute organic matter, use your imagination, golden animals, insects, trees, and and even if we were to split all those... Look, I might have skimmed over that one, but don't be so pedantic. Oh, I'm not suggesting we use such a bow on people. There's no profit in breaking the golden rule. Excellent. So the first question... Now, I have a plan, but first... Good. Then none of this... Diana is our goddess of the hunt, the moon, and the underworld. The one thing priests and poets agree on is that she carried with... And it just so happens that there is a shrine of Diana in this... And would you like to guess? Precisely. I can't tell you how many hours I've spent in that temple. Oh, gods, no. If you tried that, we'd all be... No. Here's what I propose. You give your bow to me. I cover it in a thin layer of gold leaf. Then you enter the shrine, extinguish the braziers, and under cover of darkness, swap out. But make no mistake, this is a dangerous part, but in my experience, all the best of it. Now, you must... So, are you in, partner?
If you don't like action or horror elements, feel free to decline. You know what? Why not?
Wonderful. Now, if you'll have... This is a quality... And here we are. A gold leaf bow. Now, I've gone and unlocked the Shrine of Diana for you, so as quick as you can. It's just at the end of the street on the left. May the gods not watch over you.
Before I do that, where is a little baker, Fabia?
You... An accident? So, I do have a question, though. Really? Then... Oh, I promise, nobody else will ever know what you did. Oh, speaking of which, welcome. Oh, there's not much to... I suppose it all started about 8 months ago. I was living in Rome with my family when I got sick.
What is it about
Terrible
the fire
timing.
that
My
caused...
pa had just arranged a husband for
what
me.
is it with
A
the
fisherman's
fire and the
son.
Tiber River?
I was about to meet him for the first time when I came down with an awful fever. I spent the next week in bed. Pa paid priests to make offerings to Asclepius, a white rooster, then a goat. But nothing worked. In the end, they decided I'd do better outside the city. Clean air in the countryside would do me good, they said. But after about a day in a carriage on the Appian Way, I was getting worse, not better. I remember closing my eyes for a bit, and I guess I must have fell asleep, because when I opened them again, I was in a forest by a river. I suppose the driver took off with his fee and left me for dead. Can't say I blame him. I wouldn't have wanted to catch what I had either. Anyway, I went searching for help, stumbled across the trapdoor temple, and here I am. It's nice of you to say, but you should... Oh, I try not to worry about... Thanks. And I like your teeth. And I'm sure he'd love to chatter about... He'll be just across the... All right.
Greetings and salutations.
Is that you, partner? Do you have the bow? Wonderful. Just go ahead and slide it under the door for me and I'll... A little bit slow, aren't you? Yes, I locked you in, and until you give me my... No, technically, I never said that. It's hardly my fault if you can't tell the difference. Oh, I do... You're just gonna have to take your chances, I'm afraid. The bow, now. And don't even think... I would reconsider my position quickly, but you're stuck in there with a hornet's nest. And, you know, some say it takes 27 hornet stings to kill a man. But let's find out if they were...
So, Artemis, the Greek goddess. You want me to shoot the nest? Oh, do I have the golden arrows equipped? No, it doesn't matter. Having the bow alone is enough to have the Midas effect. Oh, this just keeps getting more and more interesting. How far in am I? 2 hours now. Achievement unlocked. Unhygienic. Pick up the sponge on a stick. They're saying that that is something people use to wipe their butts with. Oh, I see. You want me to transform the algae. Golden achievement unlocked. Golden Archer. Guild your first thing. Wouldn't the nest have qualified as the first thing? Hi.
My beloved Galatea, I write this so that one day, when we're finally together, you will understand what I've done and why I had to do it. The others will call me mad or a monster, but I don't care what they think. Everything I'm doing here, I'm doing for you. I'll start at the beginning. Soon after my arrival here, as I walked down a corridor lined with golden statues, I thought I heard a whisper behind me. A rasp of air, as if vocal cords of metal strained to say a word or two. I tried to dismiss the idea, tried to concentrate on my work as the city's medic, but that tortured whisper haunted me. Weeks later, in the hallway to the bathhouse, I heard it again and found myself drawn to the statue of a Roman woman wearing a stola. Her face was contorted with anguish and fear, and disturbingly, it was as if she was looking right at me. As I walked past her, I heard that strained whisper again, and turning back, I discovered that even though I had moved, she was still looking right into my soul. That was when it dawned on me. This was no statue. This was a woman trapped within that golden prison. Naturally, I told the others, but when I could not reproduce the results of my experiments, they would not believe me. But from that moment on, I knew the full horror of this place. Immobilized within these statues are living human beings. It was that day, my love, that my heart broke. You're not supposed to be here.
Goodness gracious.
My beloved Galatea, after I learned the terrible truth about the golden statues, I wandered the city as if in a nightmare. What must life be like for these poor souls, entombed in gold, but kept alive somehow? Trapped in their own personal Tartarus, consigned to eternal torment, too horrific for any sane mind to comprehend. I tried to offer them what small mercies I could. I began to talk to them, to keep them company. I'd imagine backstories for them, give them names, and tell them of the world, of the histories and stories I'd learned as a child. As the others became more concerned by my charity, I sought solitude from them, preferring the company of my tormented charges. Discovering a way into the abandoned palace, I began to spend my days walking its halls and sharing with its occupants ancient tales, my mind turning to those of Apollo and Daphne, Perseus and Medusa, and Pygmalion and Galatea. Pygmalion, the sculptor who fell in love with a beautiful statue, and who, praying to Aphrodite for aid, discovered that his beloved Galatea had come to life. It was then that I heard you whisper to me, Galatea. Forgive me. I know that is not your real name, just one I have borrowed from a story. But when I turned to look at you, I saw the most exquisitely beautiful woman I have ever known. Your face, forever frozen in a look of haunting sadness. Our meeting gave me new purpose, to free you from your golden prison, so that I might one day hear you speak, not just whisper your true name to me. So I gathered tools for the long and difficult task ahead.
Oh my god, so
barred
she's
the
been
doors to this place,
peeling the
and
gold
set
off of
to work.
these people.
Kill us.
Kill me.
Help us. Help
Thought there was still one more of you. How much do I have? I have enough to purchase that information.
My beloved Galatea, my attempts at freeing these souls from their golden prisons have not been going to plan. My first charge was a Greek woman who I called Iodame after the Athenian turned to stone by Medusa. Drilling through the gold that encased her, I was vindicated by the discovery that beneath half an inch of gold, which is so rigid it must be some kind of alloy, was living flesh. Unfortunately, this golden alloy seems to have fused with her skin, so removing it exposed the sinew and muscle beneath and appeared to cause her great pain. At first, I braced myself, expecting that inflicting such pain would break the golden rule, and yet, somehow, it did not. It seems whichever god is responsible for imprisoning these poor souls does not care about their suffering at all. They are forsaken. Undeterred, I pressed on, working late into the night, attempting to remove the golden layer that encased her as delicately as I could. Eventually, I was able to free most of her body, but when I released her from her restraints, her first act was to lunge for my throat, clawing at me with all her strength and those sharp metal talons. This was my thanks for trying to save her. Whatever possessed Iodame to attack, she was clearly not a suitable subject for my experiment, and I was forced to lock her inside an isolated wing of the palace and bar the door. As I continued working on others, I could hear her flailing and launching herself at the other side endlessly. Regrettably, my other experiments bore similar results, and after relocating a few times, most of the palace is now too dangerous to work in. Still, as much as my heart aches to know that you're suffering, I cannot risk attempting to ungild you yet. Not until I have perfected a method that will bring you back to me, whole in both mind and body, and ensuring your humanity is preserved. I promise you this. One day we will be together, even if I have to free every last statue in this god's forsaken place.
Yeah, what's that ages-old adage? Road to hell. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So, if what I'm seeing is correct, using this particular bow is not considered murder. It's not considered killing, so it doesn't break the golden rule. A tad diabolical, but at the same time, it's like a workaround. Like you need it.
And you must be the wretched snake who broke into my palace and disturbed my experiments. And, worst of all, look at what you made me do to her. This never would have happened if you just stayed away. You're going to pay for that. Liar! I locked and barred the gate. I left a message warning you all to leave me alone. I just wanted to do my experiments in peace, for her. And now look at her. You made me turn the most beautiful woman I've ever seen into this. Look at her. She's in agony. All I wanted was to spend my last moments with her, to see her beautiful face. But as soon as I began my work, she stopped with what's so special. What do you mean, the same voice? Yes. I remember when they used to whisper to me, but now that I think about it. But if these bodies are mere conduits for that one voice... Wait, I see you're trying to steal her away from me. Liar! You give me one good... You think you can bring me down with your little wooden arrows before I jam this blade? What? How? Liar! Really? I'm not sure I believe you. But I imagine it would help Lucrece. But if you're lying to me, I'll... You did it. You took away her... I swear, I'll stay here to keep her company. But I fear the only one capable of releasing them... In any case, here's the key I promised you. Now, please leave. The door here leads out onto the... Go.
Achievement unlocked. Survivor. Survive the palace. Okay. Mercy's all the way up there. Love this game. So much intrigue.
Salve, friend. I'm welcome to life. All right, well, it was lovely to meet you.
I can't believe this is how it ends.
Oh no. No. No, 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 no. Ulpius, what are you doing?
That's the idea.
What?
Why do you think...
I know. Please.
I'm sorry, but...
Please, I'll help him. Thank you.
You know about that? How is that possible? I mean... Well, you don't understand. It's too late for that. Yulia and I made a pact. If I backed out now, I'd be betrayed. Oh, really? But we're still in debt bondage to that monster. Yulia and I are in debt bondage to Malleolus. We... Oh, so it's I'm out. Wherever you are. Scintilla, my love.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm sorry.
Ulpius, no! I can't... Well, I suppose it means suicide isn't a sin under the Golden Rule. I'll have to let everyone know what happened. And I guess and I'd best pray...
Oh, jeez. You know what? Save first.
Thank you. Thank you. I am delighted and deeply honored to have been elected your magistrate. Yes. Yes. Thank you. I'm delighted and deeply honored to elect you. And now... And now, I make this solemn promise to you, good citizens. And now, I make this solemn promise to you, good citizens. Under my leadership, you will finally enjoy this time. And anyway, no more should you walk on eggshells. Yes. No more should you walk on eggshells. Breathe because the tyrant Sintius told you it was forbidden. Yes. My first act as magistrate, I hereby.
Did you just leap into my villa from the balcony 100 feet above? That was either extreme... Well... I'm Malleolus, and if it wasn't for this interruption, I'm glad you asked. I'll finally restore freedom. These good people have... By declaring there's no such thing as the Golden Rule. Wait, don't tell me... The person making a claim bears the onus of proving that claim. Nonsense. There's no... Surely, you're not one of those people who believes everything you... What? Oh, I see. You mean that book next to a golden statue in the theater? Tell me... I disagree. I'll be guided by what is... True, but that is simply because you are mistaken. My name is Marcus Malleolus Gurgis. You mean my heterochromia? I am and I'm hardly the only person with... I like to think it is simply the way the god... Well, I am not suffering from any delusion. Unlikely, because it simply isn't true. I trust you can see yourself out. Through the door this time? You.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
There's the key. So note to self, you cannot...
They're alive!
So I've still got the... bow.
Salve, friend. Oh. Yulia. Poor guy. All right, let me see. Stop Fabia going in, but send the new arrival to the empty shrine. I'll go, but...
Okay, folks, I need to stop. So, I'm going to stop there for now. You know the drill. I upload my videos to my YouTube channel. Same as my gamer tag. Feel free to leave a like, leave a comment. If you wish to stay up to date on future releases, please hit that subscribe button. I'm Jade Psycho Mamba. See y'all next time.